Hello, I am reporting live from the salt mines of Reddit, where changes to Purposeful Harbinger, notable passive, seemingly kills the entire build. So if you didn't know, there was this node, is a node called Purposeful Harbinger that gives you increased effect of aura buff on you for each herald. So if you have 5 heralds, that's 50% effect of aura buffs. Uh, and you can stack that. So with 6, that's 300%. And the way it's worded just happens to mean that it's pretty much affects a lot of stuff. And when asked about is this gonna get nerfed, because people pointed out how broken this was before the league even started, and then around week into the league, we started seeing actual builds with that. And we also found out that uh, it's working on stuff that it shouldn't be working on. And so when asked about that, Bex obviously asked the design team about it, and they weren't planning to nerf it because they don't want to do mid league nerfs. Uh, However, they looked a bit more into it, and then they found out that because how in their code internally they have basically labeled a lot of buffs and bonuses and whatnot as auras, even though they are not actually that for the players. Uh, well, shit, shit got pretty real, and it's basically just breaking their entire game. So they are nerfing it. So instead of being effect of aura buffs, which applies to basically anything that can be considered an aura, even though it's not, like even such as things like Solstice Vigil that has Depilation Presence, which is not an aura, even though it does apply to you. And I mean, I guess it's an aura, but this is pretty complicated how to like talk about this. But so yeah, you can uh slow the expiration of buffs such as Headhunter buff or flasks or whatnot, all wall skill etc. Have a duration slowed by this, and that buff multiplied this as well. So you could hit the cap of 75% expiration, which means all durations that get affected by this are quadrupled in their time. That's just one example, and that's probably one of the biggest. I mean, I guess the biggest nerfs, because a lot of people were using this with Headhunter, and now you need to go back to self-temp chaining yourself. But yeah, so they are changing this to only apply from skills, like aura skill. And if they were to leave it at that, that would actually be still incredibly broken, because Depilation Presence is notable that gives your all of your auras a 0.2% life region. So that if you have 5 auras with scaling the aura effect also outside of the node itself, this is just one way of scaling it. You can scale it even further with other stuff. So you could literally stand in the zeros as the cloud, which is pretty yeah, that's not supposed to be a thing. So shit hit the fan, and now they're nerfing it. And probably the biggest things to get nerfed is the Saber's Presence, then Guardian. Guardian, be quick here. So Guardians, all of the buffs from here. So stuff like Radiant Faith that has 10% of your reserved mana. Yes, it applied to that. It applied to the more damage from Radiant Crusade. It's just like all of that just got absolutely busted crazy. And those will be a bit nerfed. Well, quite a bit nerfed. However, stacking Heralds is definitely not going to be gone. And biggest reason for that is probably Endbringer, because that's 25% increased damage for each Herald affecting you. So if you have 5 Heralds, that's 125, and you can again stack this. So even just having 2 of these notables is already 250% damage. Then you can increase the effect of your Heralds and reduce the reservations. And then if you still have Purposeful Harbinger, normal auras such as Discipline, Haste, Anger, Wrath, etc. are still pretty busted. So while this is a massive nerf to the probably arguably one of the most broken things ever put into the game, nerfing it still keeps it at one of the broken things in the game. And they are also saying that they are nerfing the actual values of Purposeful Harbinger next league. So I'm expecting this to be at least halved, if not even made like worse than that, like 2% or something. Like even then, it's still good. But yeah, and they are halving the effect. I think they're halving this to be 4% and 0.1, or at the very least, that the region from here is going to be halved as well, because when you have a lot of auras, when you have a lot of scaling, makes your character basically immortal, as long as you don't get one shot. But yeah, so I guess my question to you guys here is it correct for them to do this? Because they were on the stance that they're not gonna do it, and then they changed their mind because, well, they found out that a bit more broken than they expected, like they thought it to be. Or should we have had the absolute power of be immortal and one shot everything and go through from start of the map to the end of the map in a second because of how much speed you get from it? Should have they kept it for the rest of the league? We are now like what 2.5 weeks into the league or so. Because in my opinion, what they did here is I think even if they said that they're not gonna do it, that was with less information that they have now, and they absolutely did the right thing here because it breaks their entire game. And even after the nerf, it's still gonna break their game, and there's still gonna be a lot of really broken stuff with the larger jewels. And 3 voices is still an absurd jewel. And even for my Essence Train Trickster, that would be best in a slot jewel for me. And that build doesn't exactly get like crazy amount of value from it, but it's just insane how efficient. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk and say about in this. I hope you guys are not too mad at GGG for this, and if you're someone who wanted to try things with this and weren't able to because they were too expensive, well, now might be the chance to invest in these because these are still going to be incredible. And anyone saying that this kills Herald stacking, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll see you guys